So to the untrained eye or the naked eye, this simply looks like I'm just freezing an unstoppable champion, just freezing him. But behind the scenes of the actual build, there's a lot more going on than that, a really lot more. So keep an eye on the bottom left, you'll see there I've got my stasis weapon boost and my chargeable light. So what I'm doing there is I've got chargeable light and high energy fire, which is 20%, and I've also got my stasis weapon boost. So how that works is this 3 stasis shards are going to come towards me. That's going to give me my 2 chargeable light for high energy fire, which is 20%. It's also going to give me 25% from my font of might. I'm going to stick a lasting impression rocket launcher, the Palmyra B, which is stasis, and then while that's all going on, I'm going to stick a Divinity, so there's another 30%. That's a 75% damage buff. Stay tuned, I'll show you how. So this is my stasis warlock build for GMs or high-end activities. I really love running this one in stuff like glassware. It's an absolutely tried and tested build. I've run it for seasons. This season I'm using Osmiomancy Gloves, but you don't need them. You can run pretty much anything with it. I like these because it gives you two cold snap grenades, which you can convert into freezy turrets, but these are a must. You don't have to have these. I just like them for the 2 cold snap grenades. And it's a build where I can put excellent damage out, be a team player, and use my stasis weapons to do absolutely crazy damage. I'll quickly show the aspects and fragments that I'm running. Glacial Harvest. This one is an absolute must. You must run this for this specific build. This enables you to put out some serious damage. I will explain more as I go. But Glacial Harvest, freezing targets create stasis shards around the frozen targets. Higher combatants create more shards. I'm running Bleak Watcher. As I said, I like to run Bleak Watcher because I can convert my 2 cold snap grenades into freezy turrets. That I run with these gauntlets here, these Osmio gloves here. So you get 2 cold snap grenades that I can convert to Bleak Watcher turrets with that aspect there. So Glacial Harvest, Bleak Watcher, Glacial Harvest again, I'm going to bang on about it, it's really important, I'll explain why. Whisper of Conduction, nearby stasis shards track you, so whenever I create a stasis shard, they're going to come towards me. Whisper of Change, while you are near frozen targets or friendly stasis crystals, you take reduced damage from targets. In GMs, high-end activities is really important. Whisper of Fissures, increase the damage in the size and the burst of stasis when you destroy a target. Again, this one's sort of optional, you don't have to. I like to run this just for the ad clearing capabilities. If you kill something that's frozen, it just does extra damage around the area. Whisper of Hedrons or Hedrons, dramatically increase weapon stability, weapon aim assist, mobility, resilience, recovery after freezing target with stasis, so we're always going to be freezing stuff. Whisper of Chains and Whisper of Hedrons work together, so you become quite tanky every time you freeze a target. What I'm going to do now is show you some gameplay of how these sort of aspects and fragments work together with the mods that I've got on my armour, and show you the damage that I'm getting and how easy it is to sort of use it. And then after this sort of explanation, I will show you some GM gameplay as well. I just popped in the Lost Sector here just to show you the sort of gameplay, how it's working and what to do. So this is just an example again. So what I'm going to do is freeze one of the targets, and then what I'd like you to do is just keep an eye on the bottom left of the screen, the buffs that I'm getting. As soon as I pick that shard up, it's going to give me a stasis weapon boost, and it's going to give me chargeable 8 times 2 just by picking up 1 shard. If you stay tuned, I'm going to show you my actual mods, because I've showed you the fragments and the aspects I need to run, but the second part of the build is the mods. So again, I'm just going to sort of go through it. I'm going to freeze a target, and every time I freeze a target, it's going to create me an elemental shard, and then when I pick that shard up, it's going to give me 25% font of might, and it's also going to give me 20% from high energy fire. So every time I pick up a shard, it's just going to instantly give me all them buffs on the left hand side. Stay tuned, I'm going to show you exactly how I'm doing it and what I'm doing with the mods. It's really strong build, massive damage on your stasis weapons. So what I'm doing is I'm running elemental shards. So what that does, shards that I'm creating from the aspects that I showed you, and the turrets and the freezing grenades, they're all going to count as elemental wells. So every shard that you create turns into an elemental well, And then what I'm doing is I'm running Font of Might for my stasis weapons, and I'm on stasis subclass, so picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants a temporary bonus to weapon damage of that same elemental type. So that's 25% extra damage on my stasis weapons whenever I pick up one of these shards because of this mod here, elemental shards. What I also like to run is elemental time dilation. That just extends the benefits of the well mods. So Font of Might, for example, that's giving me, usually it gives you 10 seconds of 25% extra damage, and elemental time dilation just extends that for a few seconds, so you get like 12-13 seconds extra. I'm also running elemental charge, so what it does is every time I pick up one of these elemental shards or an elemental well, it's going to make me times 2 charge with light. And then the last mod I'm running is high energy fire, which is another 20% buff. So, and that stacks with Font of Might. It has done for a few seasons. So Font of Might and high energy fire stack together, and it's really easy to stack them both together for a good 12 seconds, as I showed. So this is what it does. So the gameplay loop, or the loop of play, is to create an elemental shard, pick that shard up. What's going to turn it into, makes the game think it's an elemental well. That's going to proc my Font of Might. Also, when I'm picking that shard up, it's going to get me times 2 charge with light, and it's going to proc my high energy fire, which is 20% extra damage, and Font of Might is also 25% extra damage. They're stacked together, and then what I do, what I always try and do, is hit this target with Divinity and fire my rocket launcher, switch back to Divinity, and you get absolutely massive damage. Crazy. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about in some lost sectors, and then I'll show you some GM gameplay. So this is a sort of, in action, I've frozen that target there. He's going to create me a shard. I'm going to get the Font of Might and the high energy fire working together, stick him with a rocket, Divinity, massive damage. And just one more time, just to sort of get it, so we've got it sort of nailed. I've got that, picked that shard up by freezing him. That's proccing my high energy fire on my Font of Might. I'm going to stick my lasting impression Palmyra B into him, a stasis weapon. I'm going to switch to Divinity, so we've got the 25% extra damage from Font of Might, we've got the 20% from high energy fire, we've also got the 30% from Divinity. And again, this is just a lost sector boss, but remember, this is just a sort of, just to show it off. I'm going to show you some gameplay of me doing the exact same thing against high targets like overloads, barriers, bosses, raid bosses, everything like that, how it's easy and how much damage you do. So this is just some gameplay of versus Rulk, this build versus Rulk, and what you're gonna see there is like a lot of the stasis shards that we've been talking about. I'm picking them up. I'm getting my 13 seconds of stasis weapon boost. I'm also getting my high energy fire going. That's 45%. I'm not running Divinity. The lad who I did this with is running Divinity. Pick them shards up again. There you go. So there's another 30%. So it's like a 75% damage buff all the time. And what you might notice on that left hand side is some of the buffs disappear. They're still there. It's just that other buffs override them. They're still definitely there, I promise you. And in a moment, I'm going to freeze Rulk again just to reproc everything that we've talked about. You'll see them shards just come to me just in that bottom right then, and that's just reprocs everything, all my Font of Might and all my high energy fire. You do some crazy damage. I think I was at like 52k with a stasis sniper. It's a fast firing one, and quite a lot of damage with a Palmyra B as well. This is just another sort of random gameplay in a GM. Freezing some targets there. I know that there's an unstoppable coming shortly, so I've just put a stasis rocket in that corner just to take advantage of my high energy fire. Clear them ads out, and then there's going to be some more shards that I'm picking up. There you go, they've just come to me now. That's again giving me that massive 45% damage increase. And then I'm putting Divinity on, and yellow bars, unstoppables are just absolutely dead. And this was the previous clip that I showed you right at the beginning of the video. Again, just picking them shards up, getting my Font of Might and my high energy fire going all together, waiting for safety, waiting for my mates to ready to go because they're finishing to get the heavy, picking them shards up last minute, making sure I get the 13 seconds of extra damage. This yellow bar is usually quite tanky, and it's just me shooting him here. That's all my buffs going, Divinity and he's pretty much gone, look, instantly dead. So it's really strong. I'm just going to leave a few more clips running out now, destroying overloads, and just the last clip at the end just to remind you that in GMs the Warlock super, the stasis super, is really good for clearing ads, and you are an absolute tank while you use it as well, so it's good for bad situations in GMs. You can pull yourself out of the poop quite easy with that super as well. So I hope the video has been enjoyable. Have a nice day, take it easy.